Right now, while most people are kind of intimidated by AI or just treating it like a toy, a small group of people is quietly using it to gain a massive advantage. You don't need a crazy technical background or a huge investment, just a laptop, an internet connection, and the right AI skills. Because here is the honest truth. AI is not a magic button. It's a tool, and tools only really work when someone knows exactly how to use them. So don't just chase the output, chase the skill. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are going to completely demystify prompt engineering. We're going to shift your mindset from being a casual AI user to a masterful director of AI output. Let's get started. Okay, let's take a really quick look at our agenda for today. We'll start with exactly why your prompts might be sailing right now. Then we'll break down the context, task, format, framework. After that, we are diving into the Explain Like I'm 5 method, the iterative sculpting method, how to navigate the newer reasoning models, and finally, we'll scale it all up with enterprise few-shot prompting. All right, kicking things off with section 1, why your prompts fail, or what I like to call the casual mistake. So, the most common mistake people make right out of the gate? Treating an AI model like a basic search engine. Just look at this side-by-side comparison. On the left, we've got a vague one-line request. Write a follow-up email. Sure, typing that saves you maybe 10 seconds, but it's going to cost you serious rewriting time because the output will be totally generic. Now, look at the right. If you actually engineer the prompt, specifying the role, the context, the length, and the tone, you get a near-ready draft on the very first try. It is literally night and day. Here is the mental model you absolutely need to adopt. Treat the AI like a ridiculously smart new hire on their very first day. Think about it. They're highly capable, they are incredibly eager, but they are entirely context blind. They know absolutely nothing about your specific company, your customers, or your unique situation until you explicitly tell them. You wouldn't hand a one-word task to a brand new employee, right? The same rule applies here. Moving on to section 2. This is the context, task, format framework, your new best friend. So to fix that context blindness we just talked about, we use this really simple but powerful framework. Let's break down that first vital piece, context. Good context basically requires 3 ingredients. First, history, like what has already happened to lead to this request. Second, audience, who is actually going to read or use this thing. And third, persona. Honestly, assigning a persona, like telling the AI, act as an experienced sales manager, is probably the absolute highest leverage instruction you can give in just a handful of words. It completely changes the vocabulary and the overall tone of the response. Now, as for the format, we can explicitly define boundaries using XML tags. Things like text and output tags. This acts as a container for the AI. You've probably noticed that models like Claude can sometimes get, well, a bit chatty. By formatting your prompt with crystal clear output constraints, you literally force the AI to follow your exact desired structure without hallucinating all that extra fluff. And when you're setting those rules, keep this massive insight from the prompt engineering community in mind. Models are significantly better at following positive framing. What does that mean? Well, if you want a short answer, don't say, "Don't be wordy." Instead, tell it what to do. Say, use a 3-sentence paragraph. Positive framing shrinks the AI's decision surface, which heavily reduces errors. All right, section 3, explain like I'm 5, or how to decode complex jargon. Now, this structured mindset isn't just for business emails. It works perfectly for decoding dense academic jargon, too. By forcing the AI to use specific everyday analogies, you can build a foundational understanding of crazy complex topics almost instantly. For example, you can use the Lego Builder prompt, asking the AI to describe an abstract system using physical building blocks. Or try a storytime contextualizer to turn some dry historical process into a memorable narrative arc. It's like having the world's most patient tutor. Next up, section 4, the iterative sculpting method. This is all about refining your output. Time for a quick reality check. Even with the best frameworks in the world, prompt engineering is an active, iterative conversation. You should really think of it like sculpting clay. Step 1 is iterative generation. Just get a broad, messy draft on the page. Get something to work with. Step 2 is refinement. This is where you literally converse with the AI, telling it exactly what to tweak, shorten, or expand. And finally, step 3, post-processing. This is the human touch where you fact-check and apply final formatting. Do not, I repeat, do not skip that last step. Okay, let's get into section 5, navigating modern reasoning models and avoiding prompt bloat. So, we absolutely have to talk about a major recent shift in the AI landscape. You might have noticed that those massive, complex mega prompts from a year ago are suddenly breaking. Why? Well, older models were mostly completion driven. They needed really heavy external scaffolding where you spelled out every single little step. But newer reasoning models, they already have internal reasoning traces baked right into their architecture. If you layer excessive instructions and bloat on top of them, you actually confuse their internal logic. They need clean, simple constraints, not massive essays of instructions.
And here's why that bloat is so dangerous. It often triggers what's known as alignment bias. If you overload a reasoning model with a dozen rules, like never assume, always double check, and never hallucinate, you are going to hit its internal safety filters hard. You accidentally optimize for hesitation. And what happens? You end up getting a very weak, hyper-conservative output that constantly second-guesses itself. Nobody wants that.
Oh, and remember this golden rule of modern prompting. System instructions always outrank user instructions, period. If you put a massive set of behavioral rules in your user prompt, but the hidden system prompt says something even slightly different, the system wins. This creates these silent errors behind the scenes that can be incredibly frustrating to debug. So keep it clean. Finally, Section 6, Enterprise Few-Shot Prompting. This is how the big players scale AI workflows. So, how do we actually build workflows for massive, high-stakes enterprise tasks? We do it primarily through few-shot prompting. Instead of doing incredibly resource-intensive fine-tuning on massive specialized data sets, few-shot prompting just gives the AI a limited number of perfect input-output examples right inside the prompt. It is brilliant because it gives the model exactly the format and the logic it needs to adapt rapidly without having to alter any of its underlying internal weights. And instead of relying on one giant mega prompt to do everything, enterprises decompose massive tasks into a layered architecture. As you can see illustrated here, they use multiple, smaller, deterministic steps. One AI call handles the planning, another executes based on those few-shot examples we just talked about, and a final validation layer checks the constraints. It's essentially a perfectly orchestrated pipeline. And guys, the results speak for themselves. When you apply this correctly, even in heavily regulated fields like clinical data management, this orchestrated prompt strategy yields up to a 3.7x return on investment. 3.7x, and it slashes process costs by 50% at the same time. This is exactly how you turn AI from a fun little novelty into a highly reliable production engine. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one provocative thought. Are you just commanding a basic algorithm, or are you engineering a collaborator? Look, the baseline tools are available to everyone right now, but the people who learn to master the prompt today will absolutely lead tomorrow. This is Next Level Hub, where we turn skills into income and income into freedom. Take action, master the skill, and level up your life, starting now.